This podcast is brought to you by Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to provide the best shopping experience for everything firearms. With over 13,000 products from over 400 top brands, Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearms parts, shooting gear, apparel, and more. Every order comes with a commitment to superior service, backed by fast shipping and an expert support team. Primary Arms, serving freedom since 2008. Find out more at frn.deals/PA. Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Tyler Brockle.
You almost forgot my name there. It's hey, everybody.
I didn't almost forget. I just looked up and was like, wait, there's other things here. There's other people here. Which one do I introduce first again? It's almost like we don't do this every week.
I know, right?
Yep. Garth will be with us in just a second, I'm sure. And tonight we are joined by Tanner from Origin Tactical Solutions.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Right on. Well, Tyler, did you, we could probably do a whole nother show about maybe some cool stuff that you've done in the past week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I didn't even think of GunCon. I was so excited to talk about the AR-15 Coyote build that I finally completed, that I've been talking about the last 2 months. So let me start with that one, huh? So we just finished off. This was one of those cases where I literally had a scope sitting around, and I said, I need to build a rifle to go with this. So I had an impulse buy a few years ago. I bought one of those Burst Eliminator 3s, and it's one of those, for those of you who don't know, it's one of those scopes that has an onboard ballistic calculator and a rangefinder. So it will actually laze the target, and then based on your bullet's drop coefficient, will adjust the reticle inside the scope for you. So the idea is it's meant to be a more ethical kill, I guess, because for long distance shooting, because you know exactly where you're going to hit. But I really just wanted to use it as a coyote and prairie dog gun. So I went with kind of an ultra accurate AR build here, based it on a Aero Precision M4 E1 lower receiver with a Aero Precision enhanced upper receiver. I've not had one of these yet. The interesting thing about this enhanced upper receiver is that the barrel or the handguard bolts directly to the upper receiver. So it does not bolt to the barrel nut, which a lot of traditional free float handguards do. And that further removes any inaccuracy due to any stresses being put on the handguard, which can be transferred into the barrel nut, which can then be transferred into the barrel. In addition to that, we're rocking a Ballistic Advantage 18-inch heavy-duty or heavier contoured 223 Wild barrel, Surefire SOCOM 2 suppressor at the end. And then I just had a Hera Arms buttstock laying around. I did order an extra spacer to adjust it for me, but I would not recommend this stock to anybody. It's not it looks really cool. It's not adjustable, but you know, at the end of the day, it looks cool. And I guess that's all that really matters, right? So, yeah.
Get that Stormtrooper vibe.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. So that's what I've been rocking. And then, of course, this last weekend I went to GunCon, which it was their first year of having it. It was sponsored by the Gun Collective and Brownells. They had it down at Brownells headquarters down in Grinnell. Day one was a live fire range day. A lot of big names there. HK, LMT Defense, Hollow Sun, Trigger Interactive. They were all there, and it was a pretty good time. Second day was a trade show, open up to just anybody at that point. We had a lot of locals show up, a lot of people from a lot of people actually flew in as well, which was awesome. Then they had pretty much a cigar and beer garden every night right outside of Brownells, and it was pretty wild. Met a lot of people. Shout out to Tyler at Swamp Fox. Them and Night Vision were right next to my booth, and we ended up just BSing about guns for about 2 days straight. So it was a pretty good time.
That sounds terrible.
It was. It
Yeah.
was.
Sounds like a hard life,
bender.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Just can't imagine sitting around talking about guns for 2 days. I think that's most of my life.
Oh yeah.
But
well, I got a lot of goodies too. I mean, Wilson Combat brought a lot of swag. Radiant Arms was giving away ambidextrous ambidextrous safety selector switches for free. Picked one of those up. It was just an all around good time.
well, that is a lot of fun. That's like I was happy I got to shoot something this week.
Ooh,
but
they let you out of the dorm.
Yeah, no, we had to go do our quarterly qualifications that we are required to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing the MP qual again, and unfortunately, I shanked one out of the gate.
Oof.
Because I was watching a couple people shoot and doing how do you hold your body and hit a target like that? So naturally I had to try it. And I went, well, that's why, because I can't. And then I just went back to shooting right. And so unfortunately I only shot a 49 out of 50.
Oh, amateur.
Jeez.
I know. I'm disappointed in myself. But no, so that was fun. Of course, I think we are the last active operation that is still running entirely Berettas.
Ooh,
Huh.
We're
nostalgic.
Oh, I mean, I am the old guy, and I love my Berettas, and I have a few of them. But we are, I think, the last operation that is still 100% pure Berettas.
Huh.
And,
Don't envy you.
Oh, Garth remembers me running around with Berettas when everyone else had all the high-speed stuff, and I just refused to give it up.
No, that's true. That's 100% true. No, if it's good enough for the Army, it's good enough for me. Okay.
What about you, Garth? You done any kinky shit with guns this last week?
No, not really. Just actually customizing and buying a lot of gear, but no, nothing crazy on the gun front.
What kind of gear are you looking at right now?
Actually, I'm doing a lot of holsters for pistols, so I've been looking at a lot of G-code holsters and stuff like that.
Oh,
Not really knowing what I'm going to get yet, so of course, I just went simple. Just got a couple Blackhawks.
Yeah,
them in the mail just because then I at least know I have something that fits my guns. But
I got a few of the G-code ones, but man, I highly recommend Safari Land. You know, I had some of the Serpa stuff from Blackhawk. I had some of the G-code stuff, the RTI stuff. But at the end of the day, I've pretty much just fell in love with the simplicity of Safari Land and like their QLS system. And I highly recommend that one.
Well, I got to find some. Go ahead, Billy.
I made the switch the other way. I started with with Blackhawk and Serpa and all that, obviously, because they won an Army contract. And then I went, this holster sucks. So I went from that to the Safari Lands, and they were vastly better than the Serpas.
Yep. And they have an Army contract now too, so you're not cheating.
I know. And then I went, you know what? I'm just gonna run G code, and everything I run on mine is all G code, unless the Army says I can't and have to run their system. But now, luckily, they will. Like, I know the guy who gets to make those authorizations.
Until I get yelled at.
Yep. Yeah. And luckily enough for me, like, I know that I won't have to worry about that much because no one's going to yell at me for my gear.
Yeah.
Well, it bums me out because I bought an X5 Legion for competition, and I can't find it freaking, like, the only holster I can find is the Blackhawk holster right now that fits the gun. So, I'm looking for ideas and things I can find. I don't want to go out there and I don't want to be a douche. I'm just going to say I don't want to be one of those douchey guys that has the open holster for his competition gun so he can like shoot from the hip, because I'm not going to do that crap anyway. I feel like I would just shoot a toe off, so I don't want to do that. I actually want to draw from a real holster. So
Yeah,
there's
training value.
There's a couple companies out there that do make some of those like one-offs. Because back in the day, for like a Sig 320 X carry, no one made a holster for it.
Mhm.
So it was either Tier X Arms or Tier 1 Concealment. I think it might have been Tier 1. Makes a lot of those custom, and then
Yeah.
they'll put whatever backer you want on them. If you want to use, the QLS or the RTI.
Well,
And
if
then-
only we had a guy who was only, 30 miles north of me who might be in law enforcement who has a side business of creating
Making
custom holsters. Yeah, weird.
Yep. And I know that he will also put whatever hanger you want on the back of it.
Yeah, it just popped into my head, so maybe I should give him a call.
Yeah, I know that he also watches and listens every week. So
He might, yeah, so he might comment later.
Taking orders in the comments. How about you, Tanner? What you done anything fun this last week in guns?
Oh man, yeah, it was a gun-filled weekend to say the least. We sponsored, our company sponsored all these bays, 9 bays for Murdoch's Ranch and Home at their annual expo that they haven't had since 2019 because of COVID. So it was really cool to be able to sponsor that event and be out there for the first time in 2 years, and they blew their numbers that they projected out of the water. So it was super cool to be a part of it, meet so many of their guys. I got to shoot a 300 Win mag without a suppressor versus with, and my shoulder was thanking me with the suppressor. It's a night and day difference. Got to see some guys shoot 50 BMG, shoot a 22, 440 plus yards at one of our targets.
Nice.
Pretty sweet stuff. So, yeah, it was definitely a hard weekend, just like you, Tyler.
Yeah, sounds horrible, right?
It was awful.
That is one of the things people always leave out when they talk about suppressors or silencers, gun mufflers, as I like to call them,
Yep.
is the amount of recoil they mitigate.
Mhm.
And like, they're just all around better.
Yeah.
Like, it's far more civilized.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that much of a difference on your recoil. I knew it was going to be a difference on your hearing. Obviously, my ears weren't blown out, but yeah, when you shoot it, he's like, "Hey, shoot this first time without the suppressor." And I watched 2 guys hit it and jolt back, and I was like, "This is going to be great." So we took it, and then I threw the suppressor on, and I was surprised at how much it held back the recoil.
That's just a marketing tactic. You're deaf after the first shot, so you really don't hear the second one anyway.
I mean,
You know what? Now that you say it, that might have been it.
well, that and the marketing tactic on it, it's kind of like the thing for Clint Smith from Thunder Ranch would go on rants when people talk about the ping on an M1 Garand.
Yeah.
Because you fire off 8 rounds and it goes ping. Well, the enemies know that. You just shot 8 rounds of 30-06. Everyone is deaf.
Fuck you, fuck your shoulder, fuck me, and fuck my shoulder.
Yeah. It's one of those, everyone's deaf. You're not ping. But
That's awesome.
no, we did get some. So last week was a odd week. We had some kind of terrible news come out of Congress and the elected
Uh-oh, did Dooley just freeze?
Did we
I
just
don't
lose
know.
him?
Oh man, he was just gonna get up on his soapbox for what happened in the last week for Congress.
Oh, he did
That's
freeze.
his jam.
Yeah. Right as he started.
I like him because he dives into all this stuff, and then he just gives me the Cliff Notes version, right? So we get the so what without having to read all the bullshit. So
Absolutely, because he loves to read that stuff.
I know.
It entertains him.
Saves us the reading.
But yeah.
More of a
100%.
listener.
We'll probably have to come back to that then because I don't want to steal his thunder. So let's just dive right in, Tanner. So you're with Origin Tactical Solutions.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you give us a lowdown? What exactly is Origin Tactical, and what do you do for them?
Yeah, so Origin Tactical started summer of 2020 amidst COVID. A whole lot of, our contract manufacturing company, Origin. Matt Chase, he's our CEO and owner. He started it out of his garage back, gosh, almost 5 years ago now. And fast forward to 2020, all of the customers that we were serving, they were slowing down. They weren't hitting the projections that they were looking for in January before COVID happened. So we had times during I started like, gosh, I think it was the day after Memorial Day in 2020. I do that 4-day week, and Matt and I get to know each other like the back of each other's hands pretty quick. And I come in the Monday of week 2, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to start this LLC. We're selling gun targets." And I looked at him and I said, why would people buy gun targets? Like, if they buy it, they're buying one. And you look at how many people are in the world, and you start whittling it down, and you think, who's going to buy gun targets? And that was me as a hard-headed 21-year-old still in college. So um, we started the company mainly out of scrap metal. We'd have leftover metal from our laser machines or water jets out of 3/8. And so one of the bases behind Tyler is actually one of the very first models that we designed. It's called the modular target base. That black one right there. That's probably Rev 3 out of the first standard model that we started. And then you can see other ones behind in there, which we can get into. But those two black ones are the two that were developed by an intern engineer that summer. And it was solely an engineering or a internship program. So it was me as the business intern, our CEO, Matt Chase, and then one engineering intern. So it was just us three. He was designing it, building it, and I was out there taking it around, selling it around Northern Colorado, where we're based out of in Windsor. So we started that. It started to be a fun thing. It was like, hey, sell 100 of these within the summer. We'll call it a good summer, and we'll move on. And I went to school in Kansas at Emporia State. So I went back there in August. Nothing really happened with it. I worked from remotely part-time, not doing too much. And that kind of dwindled out. Come back May of 2021 after I graduated. A week after I graduated, we get back at it, and he's like, "Hey, let's try this out." And next thing you know, we're starting to develop new products. That one to the right that you're seeing, that's tan. That's our new model that just came out in March. It's called the Modular Target Base Ultralight. So it's half the weight of the one on your left, and can still take as much beating as the one on your left, which is even better. So they all fold up into that carry position, as you can see on that MTBX there in the middle in between them. And so it makes it modular. It's a quick 2-3 minute setup. We have all the setups of the bases on our YouTube channel. And yeah, we started to get into big box stores. We're in Shields, Murdoch's, Ranch and Home, as I mentioned before. And we're in the process right now of starting drop shipping with Sportsman's Warehouse and Tractor Supply. So it's been a fun thing to look back and see it as it was scrap metal material that we turned into a product and took it past Colorado, which to me I never thought was possible. So it's awesome to see it that way and see how things are going. And I met Tyler this past January at SHOT Show, and here we are. So it's a fun industry. I've learned a lot. I didn't know a dang thing. I wouldn't know a difference between a 9mm and a 45 back a year ago. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Well, you guys have been obviously doing really, really well getting in that many major box stores this quickly. And for those of you who can't see this online, the really unique thing, I guess, in my opinion, about Origin Tactical Solutions is that their target bases, they are made of, I guess, separate components, and you can break the entire target down without any tools. And, there are a lot of target systems out there that can do that. But what's ultimately unique about Origin Tactical Solutions is the fact that you can then put the base together. Everything breaks apart and everything nests together, and it basically turns into a little suitcase. And so not only is it's got a little carrying handle built right into the stand. So not only is it highly portable, I really like these things because that thing breaks down and saves a ton of space in the back of my truck, and they all just stack neatly together, as opposed to, there's a lot of target assemblies out there that use, like, your standard X base, and it does take up a lot of room. And even though you can normally separate the base from the riser and separate the riser from the target itself, this thing just it all interlocks together and is really, really cool. Especially your new version that I just got about a week ago. It is so light. It's I haven't gotten it out to the range yet, but just picking it up here and moving it around the office, you guys got a huge win, in my opinion, as somebody who uses a lot of steel targets and moves steel targets around quite a bit.
Yeah, our engineers did a great job. I looked at it. I remember some of the first models that Matt would bring out, and he'd be like, "What do you think?" And I'd look at it and be like, "How do I even put this together?" And then, he takes that opinion from all of us internally, starts breaking it down, making it more, making it easier to put together. And every single time we meet someone new and we have them put it together, and then we take that feedback. So that's how we've gotten it to the product that we're at right now. So pretty awesome.
Very cool. So diving into kind of the design of the target and what makes it unique, you want to talk about some of the key features that that you guys have built into these target stands to make them optimize them, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So our first model, like I mentioned on the left there on Tyler's screen, that one was the one that we wanted to try to build everything into. So it's got a configuration that you can stand it straight up and down. The configuration he's got it in right now has like a 20 to 25 degree lean in it. And it also comes with paper clips that can slide up and down, that you can put 1x2 posts in and staple your paper targets in there as well. So we wanted it for the steel shooter, the paper shooter, the cardboard shooter, everyone in between, and also making it safe with having that lean and making sure when your target's getting hung up at the front, it's going to absorb and your bullet is going to pancake into the ground. So we built the safety features in there as well, just from a standpoint that we want this to be built from the very first shooter, like myself, who cannot hit 49 out of 50 dually, and all the way up to the dualies that could hit probably 51 out of 50. So that was the whole idea with the design, to make it portable, steamful for every shooter out there.
Yeah, I really like the lean that you guys have in this. So for those of you, again, who can't see it, because this is technically a radio show, when you put the 2x4 in it, the 2x4 itself is leaning forward. And the benefit to targets that have a lean in the riser is that when you actually hit the target, what's going to happen is the shrapnel is going to be deflected, obviously down to the ground. And if you have a straight riser, a 2x4 that's standing up perpendicular to the ground, you have more shrapnel that is actually going to go into the 2x4 itself. And with these guys being leaned forward like that, when the bullet hits the target, because the 2x4 is leaning at the same angle that the target will deflect at, it greatly reduces the amount of shrapnel that goes into the 2x4 and extends the life expectancy of your 2x4.
Yep, and that led us into the second design, on the ultralight. It has a little 1/4 inch orange post on the front that hooks onto the legs, and on that bad boy, it's a 1/4 inch AR-15 steel. So we're protecting your 2x4. It's even lighter. It's even cheaper in cost, and it's still got that safety feature lean to it. So we tried to just take it another step further in protecting your 2x4 now, because you got guys like me that'll hit the 2x4 somehow when you get a big ass target like that. So
I thought you said you weren't a good shooter.
I'm not, exactly.
Because you hit the smaller target, not the big one.
We're not saying we did. I didn't do it on purpose, I'll tell you that.
So I think that's another major advantage. So basically, there's a lot of companies out there that offer 2x4 guard plates. And so you actually, on your ultralight stand, have built the guard plate into the hanger that holds the target onto the riser. So that's really cool. In addition to that, another major feature that I like is that you guys turn the short side of the 2x4, or you expose the shorter side to the oncoming bullet fire. So in my opinion, you know, even though it's like 1 or 2 inches less, you still decrease the amount of opportunity for bullets to actually strike the 2x4, in addition to adding the guard already included in the package. And now I see that Brandon's asking in the comments, what is the MSRP on these stands? You kind of want to walk through your various prices on them?
Yeah, most definitely. On our MTBs and MTBXs, the two thicker ones that were our first two products, they're retailed at $299.99 in stores, and they come with a 4-inch gong. And then our ultralight bases. Another thing to point out as I'm bridging this, the first bases, they have welds in them, so it required plate processing, welding, and powder coating. On the one on the right, the ultralight is all flat sheet steel. So obviously there's different steel in there. You have your 3/16 steel on the bottom and your AR-15 on top, 1/4 inch. So you have two different kinds of steel, but you don't have to weld. So it takes a big cost out of it. So with that one, it comes with a 6-inch hexagon, which is another story. That's funny, but we have a target called a hexagon. It's shaped like a hexagon, but it's a gong. So we trademarked it. Thought it was funny. It's really cheesy, but it works. Comes with a 6-inch hexagon, and it's $179.99 MSRP.
So when you guys were talking earlier about the safety and the lean and stuff like that, like not only does that lean a lot of times allow you to to have the bullet go back and save the 2x4, that also with it coming forward with the deflection, because if you shoot just a straight up and down steel target, you get way more spalling going back towards the shooter, especially with with pistol rounds, especially, and just because they're bigger and sharp bits flying through the air do bad things to the human body, and that's like I've had that before at a competition where I walked up on, but didn't even walk up on, was standing in the, okay, you're on deck, and guy in front was shooting and caught copper jacket spalling into my stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's no big deal. I mean, I just pulled it out with a pair of pliers and we went on the day, but
yeah, flesh wound.
Yeah, no big deal. But no, that type of stuff happens. But when you add that angle, it actually adds another safety aspect, because it allows that spalling to go down more than come out. And I know that I lost for a little bit when we had some electrical issues here. But so you guys talked about how the stands hook into each other and are portable and all that stuff, where you can go through, and with that ultralight stand, the kind of neat thing about it is you can do the lean and the straight up with that as well, correct?
That's two different bases for those. So we have the MTB standard ultralight, just like the one on the left there, the black one. So the standard and the standard ultralight, the only difference between the two is the standard ultralight, the heavier one, can go straight up and down and a lean, because that was the first one where we wanted to do everything. But then we found out with the X, and then we moved into the ultralight. So our standard ultralight has the lean, and then our X ultralight has the straight up and down configuration.
So now you've mentioned the X a couple of times, and I know the one I got packaged up here in the carrying conversion is the X. What is the difference between, you got the MTB, which is your original, and that's kind of your rifle rated one. You got your MTB Ultralight, which is your newer version, rated for rifle and is much lighter. And you've mentioned MTBX a few times. So what's the difference between the MTBX and the MTBs?
Yeah, so obviously it's just the straight up and down configuration is the biggest tell. We came to find out that having the X and how compact it is on the base, it's less likely to fall over, which is crazy enough, because we thought, and from my perspective, being not an engineer who is smarter and put this design together, it comes to find out that it's pretty sturdy from that perspective, and you don't have that momentum of the target as much as with the lean. because that lean you have more target swing, but when you're here, it's going to hit and it's just going to come back to steady a lot quicker. Um, I looked at it as more of a pistol target at the beginning, but it'll take your 223, 5.56 rounds at long distances. So the biggest thing is just the straight up and down mobility. A lot of people like having a straight up and down target when they're doing competitions like 3-gun or any kind of speed shooting. So we look at that as like a bigger shepherd's hook, honestly. It's higher up in the air. You can hit it from chest high instead of having to aim as far down with a lot of shepherd's hooks.
Okay, very cool.
And then, so that puts in, and if you look at or if anybody's looking, I have the website up for people to look at, so you get kind of a top-down view of how that all goes in together. And the interesting thing about it is how it all snaps together, and then, like you said, it goes into that kind of compact carrying case.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'll probably be ordering a couple of these after we get done because reasons, but
Reasons.
so they're still rifle rated, everything like that, because like the steel will still take it, and it gives that little bit of extra support on the back if you're doing like really rapid fire.
Yep.
Where it's absorbing that instead of having the weight forward to offset your lean and then having it pushed back. Just the forces there. I think it's an amazing design to look at. So
So Tanner, can we talk a bit more about the shepherd hook and then get into like the different targets that go with it? Because from what I understand, this is the first shepherd hook style target that I've had. Everything else has been like direct bolted or bolted with springs. So tell us, a little bit about the shepherd's hook, why you guys went that route, and what the benefit to that is over like traditional stuff that we've seen in the past.
Just having a more sturdy shepherd's hook. If you have a lot of those shepherd's hooks, they have the one hook into the ground. You don't have your 4 placements of ground contact where you can have absorption to keep it sturdy. When we were at that shoot for Murdoch's this past weekend, we were seeing shepherd's hooks just get hit, and just eventually find their way back down to the ground. You want something out there that you can just leave out there into a range. You can sell it to a range, and a range is going to be able to set it out there, throw some stakes into the ground, into the weight cutout hooks. But there's areas that you could drill it into the ground, and you're going to have a more sturdier surface area. So that was kind of, in my opinion, obviously I didn't design it, so it's hard to speak on behalf of those guys, but staying away from hardware was some of the biggest thing. I know that plate is screwed into the 2x4, but it's also hooked up to the hook. That's just another additive to keep it secured to the 2x4 with the legs. But a lot of the feedback we got was like, hey, do you guys like chains? Because we might even have circles or squares on that IPSC behind you there, Tyler, but we used to have square openings where people could bolt in chains and hang it by chains. But over time, we started to hear from people like, I shoot my chain off. It's too much money to go constantly replace it. So it's a lot easier to put yourself in with a AR-550 hook that's going to last, or AR-500 hook that's going to last a long time.
Sure. And it makes it really easy. It's, how do I say this? It's a looser fit between the hook or the riser or the mount point or whatever you want to call it. And when you have a steel plate that can move more freely, it's going to ring more. And really, that's the big thing with steel. You want to see the movement. You want to hear the ring. You want that instant feedback. And I'm assuming that's another major benefit to these shepherd's hooks.
Yep. That's the same thing. Just having, everyone shoots steel to have the feedback. That's why people go away from papers. So that was another big thing.
I was gonna say, Garth, you were sure nodding your head when he was talking about that shepherd's hook.
Oh, well, no, I was just excited because he was bringing me back to Murdoch's, man. He keeps talking about Murdoch's, and man, I spent 2 years in Colorado, so like Murdoch's was our runnings, and it's just a badass story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
I do love Murdoch's. They got a great group of guys.
Oh yeah.
I hope some of them see this because they were awesome this weekend.
But yes,
Well-
the shepherd hook is awesome just because of chain. I was agreeing with chains. I mean, how many times have I shot chains off? And it's a pain in the butt. It's expensive. The
Yep.
hooks are so much more enjoyable to hang on posts and steel and stuff. It's just
Well, one of the things with that is just the reason why so many of those had the square hooks in them was for carriage bolts. You know,
Yes.
you put that carriage bolt in to hold everything in, and then a big fender washer on the back to put it on the chain and tighten everything
Yep.
up.
Mhm.
And I have both shepherd's hook style hookups and the bolt on ones. And now I have to keep a 3/4 inch wrench in my
Yeah.
range bag
Yeah.
because I have had targets come loose on me at the range where all of a sudden you go, oh, that's like I keep extra bolts and
Yep.
and a wrench because
Yeah.
I've also seen someone shoot one of those heads off, and I'm like, how did you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Because the bolts are a mild steel, even grade 8 bolts. Like,
Yep.
yeah, they're great for fastening strength, and it doesn't mean that it's a hardened steel or because I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of what AR means for
Yeah.
AR? You mean assault rifle?
Okay, fine.
No.
Abrasion resistance, because it goes into the Brendel scale, and all the steel's originally used for mining equipment. You find it in buckets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow, I was sort of not expecting.
Oh,
So-
I know. So I held my tongue like I was being good.
Okay.
So we do have another question for Brandon.
Yeah.
Is a quick and easy question because I'll even pull it up here since he's watching along.
And that's exactly where we were going next, Dooley. So you might as well just
Yep.
pull up the website and
Yep.
Tanner, why don't you talk about? I mean, we see the AC zone IPSIGs that I have behind me because realistically, I'm all about the training. But why don't we talk about some of the different types of targets that you guys can just mount to these shepherd's hooks?
We'll come
Yeah,
back to face off too.
Yeah. We try to get away from the whole adding the hexagon to the lineup was to get away from your single hook regular circle gong. We try to differentiate ourselves with having fun designs like this, and this is probably just half of it. Our engineers have designed up like state cutouts. Some people, specifically people from Texas, of course, they love the state of Texas, and we have a state cutout for Texas that we have in Shields. We have political lineup, as you can see. You can shoot whatever. We lean in the middle.
It's a radio show, Tanner. Tell them what they're looking at.
You are.
Well, I will.
See, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting it's a dang radio show. I just keep looking at you guys and looking at the PDF half the time.
So
yeah,
what he
so
was
we got-
saying is the political
Yeah.
lineup is they have, they call it their novelty, but they have both of the major political parties in America's mascots. Strangely enough, one is a red elephant and the other one is a blue donkey. So
Yeah.
you could get those and, shoot at one of those if you so wished, along with milk
Yep.
jugs, bottles, yetis, aliens, and then a whole line of different dinosaurs if you wanted to live out your Jurassic Park fantasies.
I have a raptor.
And then bison, ducks, coyotes, elk, rabbit, and then of course the cow skull,
Yep.
along with your
Yep.
standard IPSC, more boring targets, and then gongs and your hexagong.
Hexagon.
Yep. Got your hexagons. You got. We have different state cutouts. We haven't added to the product catalog yet because we want to make sure we get all 50 states, but it's kind of hard to fit 50 states of targets onto a page of target lineup. So,
Well, how are you
Yeah.
going to do that? Like, I want to see the map of the
Yeah,
U.S.
how do you get Hawaii to fit on there?
See
No,
that one. I definitely didn't think about it, and I definitely don't think that's possible.
I can't imagine you're selling a bunch of these in Hawaii anyway, so I think you'll be okay.
Well, I just
Yeah,
want
I
to see
think-
like a map where you set up and like, where are we going to go on vacation? And you know, the
And,
whole
and you
family.
have just like a full 5-foot area or 10-foot area of just steel targets, and you're just sitting there shooting at places, and then you try to pinpoint it.
Oh yeah, I think you were thinking like a thing of America, right?
Like a whole map of the U.S.
Oh, like a whole U.S. cutout. Yeah.
And then your wife jerks the trigger and it hits 10 inches to the right, and she's like, "Fuck, looks like we're going to Paris."
Hey, see, I'm not looking for a globe.
Yeah, he said the U.S.
Like, I'm more worried about trying to do that puzzle and like make them in a size that would work for the map.
Yeah.
Just so it'd be like Rhode Island, which fits inside of South Dakota.
Yes. Inside of South Dakota like 15 times.
Very cool. So I hope that answers the question. And of course, they come in various thicknesses too, right? You got 1/4, 3/8, and do you guys offer it in half as well?
No. So actually, we only offer 3/8 on all of our standard targets, because that has been a thing. We learned a lot from Shields when we first got in with Shields at the start of the year. We had a lot of people that would look at the face-offs being 1/4 inch and be like, well, it's probably not that strong a steel. So we stuck with the 3/8, even though it is rated the same, since one's AR-550 and one's AR-500. So we have our 3/8 AR-500 on all of our targets, from traditional IPSCs, everything besides the hexagons. The hexagons are all 1/4 inch because we wanted to emphasize. We brought that out with the ultralight, so we wanted to bring out a lighter target as well. So we paired those up together.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. So talking about the face-offs, Dooley, you want to grow back up there, and Tanner, give us the rundown on that interesting looking target?
Yeah, so that was actually a target, again, that began and started its prototyping phase at the end of our internship. It was probably a week or two before I drove back to Kansas for school, and I remember seeing him sitting outside the shop, and they were just hanging the faces, and I was like, why do we have glasses as a target? I didn't think that was very cool. I was like, the goblin skull, sweet. So we called it the brass goblin face-off, because you have those guys at shooting ranges that will just fiend to grab your brass and reload.
Oh, yes.
So that deflector plate is the AR plate. Again, we were talking about carriage bolts. I'm a hypocrite because look at those carriage bolts there, and they're not gold either, so they're definitely not grade 8. But surprisingly, knock on wood, they have stayed on through multiple range events. But this was one that we started at the end of the internship. We showed Shields. They were like, "This is awesome. We want to get this." We sent them a prototype as well, and they shot it. It worked well. We patented the design on top. That brass deflector plate is just AR steel painted or powder coated in a gold to protect the hardware behind it, which is all mild steel, A36 steel. And pretty much we use it as a starter or a stopper at a speed range or a speed gun event, 3-gun event, however you want to word it, or however range events put it. But you shoot between the eyes, and that red eye pushes back, which pushes a bracket on top that releases your goblin and drops it to the ground. So it's one of those that, you have your alien static target where you could be shooting it and hitting and going in between the eyes and have no idea where you're hitting. This is the one where you actually need to hit in between the eyes to activate it and call it a technical hit.
So for those of you following along at home, basically what it is, it's one of their stands, but then on top of the wood riser, it has essentially three targets being held in a straight line. So the front plate is a green goblin head. The second plate back behind the first plate is a white goblin skull. And then the third plate behind both of those plates are basically red eyes. And if I understand this correct, Tanner, if you shoot the goblin head, it falls down, and then you have to shoot the goblin skull, and it falls down, and then you have to shoot the eyes, and it falls down. Is that
nope?
No.
You shoot the eyes. So you can shoot that green thing as much as you want, and it's just going to swing. And for anybody listening, this is for the MTB-X. So this is another model that we designed targets around because it's a straight up and down configuration. If it had a lean, you couldn't shoot through the eyes as well or at all because that bracket would just push your goblin off. So that was designed to be the straight up and down configuration. But you have to shoot in between the eyes to drop your goblin. If you shoot the goblin, it's just going to sit there and swing the whole time.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
Very cool.
And then when you shoot it, when you hit those eyes, so think of like, I'm going to say something like a Newton's cradle, and that means one of those things with the balls on the desk, that you hit and like they always show in movies. But
see, I was thinking Jurassic Park. You got to shoot the raptor in the eye or the T-Rex in the eye.
But when you hit that and it goes out, that actuates the lever, which drops the fascia in front and just leaves the white skull.
Yep. So that there's a bracket on top of the red eyes that slides, and there's a bracket that just slides left and right, which also has a hook in there that's holding the goblin. So it's pushing the goblin forward, and then there's an opening there, so it just releases. So it would just come out of a little pocket, drop right out of it. So the skull is set in stone. The skull will never move. And then all you have to do to reset it is push your eyes back. The hook will come out. You slide your goblin back up in, and then you push your red eyes back in, and the goblin just slides back down into place.
So this is probably not going to actuate with a 22.
No. We've tried that multiple times. Unfortunately, we sprayed at this trying to get them to drop, and we hit every single one on the eyes, and it just wouldn't do it.
Times
realistic, because we all know 22s don't kill goblins.
True.
I mean, it's times when power factor is important.
Oh yeah,
it is.
That's very cool. It looks like a really fun target. I don't have one of those, but hopefully maybe I'll run into guys at some show and we can test it out.
Yeah, we have a plan to get an alien one, a boar head. The skull will have eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have like 5 to 7 different configurations, just of different face-off targets. So we made a brand behind it as well.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing that was interesting is when you're talking about that, quarter-inch targets, people saying that they wouldn't stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very interesting, and I understand that entirely because, when I first started looking at steel targets, I immediately, I got to buy half-inch everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to shoot.
Don't do it.
No, I did one of those things where I shot, large amounts of half-inch or steel with half-inch, and as I did that, it pushed through, and then I went to everything being 3/8 because I realized I was not consistently shooting incredibly high
50 BMG.
Yeah,
50
caliber.
BMG, 338 Lapua, like screaming fast stuff that was going to defeat that.
Yep.
But as you go through, and like when we talked with different armor companies, a lot of the body armor, like the steel body armor, is in fact just a 3/4 inch, or a quarter-inch steel.
Yeah.
And what?
Yeah, reading comments. Level 4.
Yeah, but no, that's one of those where having the thickness where different hardnesses of steel stand up to different things, because also I'm the guy who shot 3/4 inch. I found a block of 3/4 inch mild steel, and 223 went right through that, and I was like, what? How does
this work? It's thick steel. It shouldn't be shot. It shouldn't be penetratable.
Yeah, and then I started learning about things like the Brindle scale and what the letters and numbers in front of steel actually mean.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So, Dooley, since you got cut off earlier, you want to go down your nerd hole of Supreme Court? news?
Yeah. So I was talking about the downfall where we talked about it a little bit with Cody last week with the laws that did get passed, which did include red flag laws, which is terrible. But the Supreme Court decision that came out last week, the New York State and Pistol or Rifle Association was a huge case, and in the decision on that, Justice Thomas wrote that decision, and in the decision they said that they have to apply its text and history to that. Like they can't do two finger approaches or anything like that anymore. So one, they said that everyone has a right to have a firearm to protect themselves outside of the home. The Heller decision in 2008 said that everyone got to keep it inside the home, which meant that you couldn't ban people from owning firearms. This decision says that you cannot ban people from carrying them. Now that doesn't mean that it's you can carry it everywhere in the country. There's still places that are federally not allowed to carry a gun, like airports and stuff like that. There's going to be places that states will legislate, hey, this is a bar, you probably don't need to be carrying a gun.
Now, what happened with Illinois, though? Because a few years ago, I thought the Supreme Court, because Chicago or the state of Illinois, probably one and the same, mandated that you couldn't conceal carry, and they back in like 2013 or something around that time frame said, nope, that's unconstitutional. So what was that? What was different about that case versus this one saying, hey, you do have the right?
The difference between them is they just were doing an out and out ban on concealed carry, which
God damn it, Illinois.
They said, it was nope, you can't do this. It was no, you can't carry a gun in public. It was you can have it in your house and you can take it to the range, or your business. And I'm sure I'm glossing over it. Somebody from Illinois will undoubtedly correct me, but so they were what's called a may issue state. So the big thing of this clause that, the reason why it went to the Supreme Court was they said that it was unconstitutional, that you had to provide a valid reason for you to have a firearm outside of the home. And self-defense was not a good enough reason. And it was one of those where they had people who were getting legit death threats, and they were bringing them, showing to them like, hey, I have these death threats. And the cops were like, yeah, well, still not a good enough reason for you to carry in my city. And they just went out. It was one of those where the incredibly rich, like if Donald Trump had a New York City concealed carry permit, celebrities and people, there was 1,400 concealed carry permits in all of New York. And I don't remember how big that city is, but it's well north of 6 or 7 million.
It's fairly large, I believe. I've never been there, but
it's when you look at that and it's 1,400 people in this town of millions, city are the only ones that have the right to carry a gun to defend themselves. They went, that's not constitutional. So from going from may issue to shall issue, now they, there's been a couple of them. I know New Jersey already did away with theirs. Like their attorney general on Friday nixed their requirement to show cause to carry. And when they went through this, because they have to do the traditional readings, because they have to do text and tradition, I think is the actual appropriate name for it. But with that, because it's stuff that has to be in common use, this has a lot of huge meanings for everyone, involved in the firearms industry and space. Because if you put everything up against text and tradition of what text and tradition in America is, that means that all the assault weapons bans are unconstitutional. Because they have to prove that ARs and AKs and those things are not in common use, which they're speculating 20 million AR pistols, and there's a couple around.
I don't have any. None.
But
Zero.
that's where these things come up, that because they are in common use and there's so many of them, when you look back at what the tradition of America is, traditionally we would not regulate firearms next. Because even if you go through it all, like there's even grounds to have the Hughes Amendment and possibly the NFA struck down with it.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Like I would be really happy with the Hughes Amendment. I would be ecstatic with the NFA.
I just want suppressors because I'm losing my goddamn hearing.
What?
Yeah. You actually have hearing aids. This is the first year that I actually got tested, I've been tested for hearing every year. The Army does it, but this is the first year where I'm actually losing my shit. And what did they say? Go in again. They made me test 4 more times until I could pass the damn thing. And I'm like, you fuckers.
See, now, funny story. The first time I went in there, because, well, like, after Iraq and all that, they, redid my hearing, and they're like, yep, carry on. you're going to get hearing aids.
Deaf old guy club. I hear you. Comment section.
But, no, it was going through it. I had our audiologist when we were going through our SRP, went through, and because they did, you got to take the test again, and then I had to go see the specialist to go through it, and they put the things in my ear, and we're doing words and all sorts of different stuff, and the gal looks at me and she goes, yeah, so you lost the portion of your hearing where a lot of women and children's voices are at. And I looked at her and I was like, can I get that in writing? Because
I thought you said they brought your wife in the room and said,
no,
he cannot hear you.
This was the first time, because I got it in writing, and she was like, whatever, you just paid off one of your buddies to do that. And then again the next year, and then finally we were actually at SHOT Show, and they were doing on the booth, one of the Hearing Pro companies was doing the hearing tests there, and the gal goes, is that your wife? And she was like, he cannot hear you. Like, I have this graph. It's data. He's not ignoring you. He just can't hear you.
Yeah, mine. I even had, like, I took a picture of the first, like, you go in the trailer, you put you in the freaking soundproof booths. I come out, they're like, yeah, you failed your baseline. I took a picture of it, sent it to my wife, and it'd be like, see, shut the hell up. And then they said, get back in the booth until you pass it. So,
Yep. Which, if you've ever been hot tip for anyone who's ever, because you've never regretted or reconsidered life decisions like you do when you're sitting in that hearing booth, because you're sitting there with a clicker and the world's most uncomfortable headphones.
Well, I feel like a schizophrenic because I'm like, did I hear a sound? I thought I hear a sound. Maybe I didn't hear a sound. Maybe it was in my head. I'm not sure. Maybe I should click the button. Maybe I shouldn't click the button. And then after a while, they come over the speaker, stop clicking the button. There's no sound. And I'm like, you guys are making me paranoid. I'm just trying to hear things.
It works really good when the tones or the beeps get into my military grade tinnitus range. And just blend right in with the constant ringing. But if you ever want to know how to beat it, like I'm not offering this as a suggestion to anyone to beat a hearing test, but if you're ever a musician and keep time, you'll notice that they're all on a certain time. So if you just tap your foot, okay.
I don't want to beat it. I want little hearing aids that I can have my music in constantly. That sounds great. After the second you said that, I'm like, ooh, I'm in.
Yeah, right up until we're in a crowded space where there's any echo at all. Then he takes it out, and then I have to do with this. What'd you say?
Tanner, how old are you? You said you're like right out of college.
Yeah, I graduated May of 2021, so I'm 23.
Oh, fuck. You're not even dead inside yet. You probably have
not even
in your ears.
Yeah, I don't even think I have, like, I've had one situation where a gray hair could be coming in. I don't think I've gotten to that point yet. I'm only a year deep into full-time work, so I guess being in the gun industry now, though, I could get there pretty quick. So.
Yeah, you need to take advantage of those industry discounts. Get yourself some good walkers. Howard Light, or what do you wear, Dooley?
Howard lights.
Howard lights.
Howard lights.
You can try Peltor, but I could never get a hold of those fuckers, so I ended up paying full price for my my contacts. But
Or Soridans.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, just get them. Plus, then you can be like one of those cool guys. You got little mics now. Like I see Walker makes the mics. Everybody's walking around talking to each other. It's not bad.
Yeah. I got some of those, but they're the Actfire ones.
Nice.
So I like those though. They don't deafening me too bad.
It's huge. I mean, I traditionally wear the Walkers, right? The Walker Slims.
Yep.
But what I found, I have the Walker Slims. I have a $600 pair of Peltors, and then I have a $30 pair of Peltors. The best one of those is the $30 freaking Peltors, because the Walkers just crush my skull, and I will have a headache after 2 hours. The high-end Peltors, they're good and all, but I got them attached to a helmet. And then the cheap Peltors, I can actually fit under my military issue helmet. And not only that, they're freaking quiet as hell. And they don't crush my skull. So
see, what you need to get for those Walkers is noise fighters. Noise fighters gel cups.
I do. I have them. I have noise fighters and everything. I have noise fighter. Even the $600 Peltors didn't come with noise fighters, and I had to add them in. But I got gel on literally everything. And it's, by the way, we are not sponsored by Noise Fighters. Buy Noise Fighters. That shit is amazing. Gel instead of foam, and you can literally put it on any hearing protect. I think almost any, but I mean everything that I just mentioned. They are the shit. 100%. They even got little cutouts for your sunglasses. Like can't say enough good things.
And they've got to be cool too. They're probably cool to the touch, huh? They don't make your ears sweat.
They make a cooling one.
Ooh,
but,
really?
Those are a little bit more. They have like actual silver lined into them.
God damn it! I gotta buy new ones.
Oh, these are just the cooling ones.
Oh, I know. I don't have those.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive.
You're not shooting much in the cold.
Kid sweats now in his 30s. I need as much cooling shit as I can get my hands on.
Yeah, I really, really like it. Like, they're worth the money. So we had one question here that Brandon put up, insight and opinion on the newer round of 6.8 SPC. The 6.8 SPC isn't that new of a round. It's been around for a little while, and its major downfall is the case, the head on the bolt, because they will fail way quick. Like they're going to fail just because the amount of surface area you need to put that on, or to put on that, is large, because they do run a different size head, or case head, than a like 6.5 Grendel or 3.62 by or 7.62 by 39, which 7.62 by 39 and 6.5 Grendel. 6.5 Grendel is just a neck down 7.62 by 39, but and it's getting a lot more play now than it used to, because it's kind of always been there. It was a solid like medium caliber round, or if you're looking at the new round that the military just adopted, it's 6.8 by 51 or 277 Fury, and we did a whole episode on that show.
Yes, we did. We nerded the shit out on that. That was just a couple weeks ago. She should be able to find it pretty easily.
Yep. So that's one with that. I don't have a lot of opinions on 6.8 or 6.8 special. It's really just like one of those that's around. Oh,
sorry. We're good. It's just a page test. Not a real thing. My bad.
Even I had to check my watch and go, oh, time for page test.
Yeah, it's page test.
Gotta love small town fire departments when you know what.
I hope it's a page test. Yeah, I think it's a page test. We'll just let it be.
Nothing to worry about. You're good.
I hope that. Yeah.
I hope
yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, getting a grip on that would be like getting a grip on VZ grips, the unique features of AR grips machined from a solid block of G10. G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered in mud, blood, or sweat. The 17-degree grip angle, kind of like the Origin Origin Tactical Solutions 20 degree, but not quite. It's 3% less. 17 degree grip angle with a wide variety of textures from mild to extreme. Color options available and also shorties. The 1911 grips, extreme customization with standard slim palm swells, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and etc. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. They even have grips for my beloved Berettas. The coupon code is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips. And that code is AR-15 podcast. One letter or one word, no spaces, no dashes. AR-15 podcast.
And speaking of grips and targets, the best thing that you can do is to get out there and train. And speaking of training, if you want a more realistic and fun training experience, a great way to improve your shooting skills is with Trigger Interactive's Smart Target Attachment System. This system of devices attaches to any of your steel targets, including these ones behind me, and allows your range to interact with you like the same thing that the military pop-up systems would. Targets randomly activate. You don't know where they're coming from. You have a set amount of time to hit them, and they detect hits so that you can completely customize your training drills and scenarios while tracking your shooting performance and scores from your phone. Don't just shoot at a basic target that you constantly have to go downrange to replace. Train smarter with Trigger Interactive. Check out triggerinteractive.com for more information and use code AR15, AR15 for a 10% discount on all systems. And I'll admit, the reason I know Origin Tactical after I met him at the SHOT Show this last year, I got several of their targets, as you can see behind me, and I've been using the crap out of them with Trigger Interactive. They are actually probably one of the best targets that I can use, that anyone can actually use with this system. And they're actually going up on the website here real soon. So not only will we be able to get them through Origin Tactical, obviously you'll be able to get them through Trigger Interactive because they are certified to work with the system and work with the system really well. So you'll hopefully see that here in the next 2 to 3 weeks up on our website as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We love
Well,
it.
hey, you know what? Maybe we should have Tanner talk about where we can find him at.
Yeah.
So you can find our targets on obviously, I don't even know why we use www anymore. Origin Tactical, yeah, pretty much. OriginTacticalSolutions.com, all one word, no spaces, nothing in between. You can use code AR15, AR15 for 10% off all of our targets all the way up until the 4th of July. We're also offering a 40% off sale on the 4th of July only. So get on there, OTS4TH, and that'll be ready to go for the 4th of July. So we're excited. We're almost there.
That is awesome. Is that 40% off these MTB bases and everything? Oh,
40% off everything on the 4th of July.
That is solid, man. Anybody who's listening, if you like these targets, and I highly, highly recommend them, that is a smoking deal. Hop on there and get yourself some.
I'm actually looking for some targets right now, so I will be checking that out on the 4th.
I'm gonna be on vacation next week, so hold on to your seats while we get these orders processed after that crazy day. I'll tell you.
Very cool.
Yes, that is a smoking deal.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Speaking of smoking deals, there's a smoking deal on patches.
Yeah.
Where at, Garth?
Oh, if I can find them at Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co, man. Absolutely, they are. Are they running a special right now? I haven't been on there in a while because here's the thing: every time I get on there, I spend money, and trying not to because, now I gotta go spend it at Origin Tactical, so I can't go buy patches right now.
Right on. Yes, those things happen. But where can they find at Patriot Patch?
What can they find? They can find pop culture patches. They can find what's going on in the world. They can actually find finger mats, which I know you love to use as mouse pads. I actually use mine as a mouse pad, but it's always covered up, so I can't actually tell what's going on there anymore. So
yes,
starting to look like your desk.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is your basement turning into mine?
Yeah, it's not good.
So Tanner, the inside joke is like my basement is like the backside of a black hole. You can kind of just reach in and find random things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You can build a space gun with all the shit laying on his floor. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Like I might have parts to an HKG 11 somewhere in there.
Actually, speaking of parts, Julie, we got to actually reach out and say thank you to our sponsors at Primary Arms, because I thought I ordered something I didn't, try to order, but actually it turns out Primary Arms just was kind enough to send me this mini reflex sight, the SLX RS10, and I am so excited to go actually put this on a gun tomorrow and go sight it in. I wanted to do that today, but I forgot that my gun I want to put it on was in my saddlebag. My saddlebag happened to be at a dealership 30 miles away because I was getting a new tire put on. So can't do that today, but definitely tomorrow I'm going to go try this reflex sight out, and I will let anyone know who wants to know about it because it looks like a sweet little sight.
Awesome.
Right on. And anywhere else they can find you, Tanner, Origin Tactical on social medias, all that.
Yeah, we're OTS, Origin Tactical Solutions, on Facebook and Instagram. I think it's Origin TS on Instagram, and then you'll be able to see us here soon on Trigger Interactive's website as well.
Bam.
All right. And of course, then you can find us at AR-15 Podcast 2.0 on YouTube and Instagram. Everywhere else is the AR-15 Podcast and AR-15 Podcast 2.0 at Gmail, or AR-15 Podcast 2.0 at Gmail for the emails.
Maybe we better can that one for you too.
Yeah. Things are happening. Stuff's going on. So reach out to us, get a hold, let us know if you have any questions. Maybe we'll plan a listener question show here coming up. So start sending in questions, and we will.
Yep, that'd be great.
We will get our gun nerd on for you guys, because nothing would, I'm sure everyone love more than, just an hour long of weird rabbit holes.
Random hole. Yep. Got the rabbit part. My bad.
Yep. But anybody have anything else to add tonight?
No, man. Thank you, Tanner, for coming on, man. Your product looks great. I can't wait to check that sale out on the 4th.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. We're excited to see how many. Well, we're gonna have our eyes opened on the 5th, not just from alcohol purposes and from the website. So
very cool. Well, yeah, thanks a lot for coming on. Great products.
Yeah.
I will continue to use the crap out of mine. It's been phenomenal actually chatting with you about all the specifics and the deals you got going on. So we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite, Tyler. It's awesome.
All right. Well, everyone else out there, you guys stay armed and stay safe.